Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. If I sound a little stuffy, I don't know what's been going on lately, but my allergies have been acting up. Hopefully it doesn't make too much of a difference to my voice, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about the PS5 Pro, and I don't even know what Sony was thinking with that one. It had potential, all they had to do was just make a slightly stronger PS5, and while they managed to do that, it's the price range and the extra stuff that kind of just ruined everything. And pretty much, we're just living in another PS3 Part 2 situation where I don't even know who this is meant for because, like I said, if you want a discless PS5, it's 450, you know, and for $80 more, you get the disc drive. So now that's 530, but that's the regular price of a PS5. I don't know. It's kind of weird though. It's basically you can just get a regular PS5 without the disc drive. If at any point you change your mind and want a disc drive, you can add 80 onto it, and it's equals to the same cost as a regular PS5. While the PS5, like the one that I've had for roughly 3 years now, 3 years now, this one is still going strong. It's as I've been keeping it well maintained, been keeping it well ventilated, and the thing has not given me much issues. Can't say the same for the outlets in my apartment. I had to keep moving this thing around because sooner or later the outlets would short out my PlayStation, and surprisingly this thing has not suffered any serious damages, but still does what it needs to. Reads disc, helps me edit my videos like the one you're watching now, all this other stuff, and it only cost me like 500, well 800, or no, it was like 1000, but that was because it came with I basically bought it at a bundle around the time everyone was scalping the PlayStation 5. I bought it at this one, like, think of it like a Best Buy or like an electronic shop, but you have to make basically monthly payments. But what I did was just put a down payment on it and paid the rest off. But it just came with the PlayStation 5, 2 controllers, 3 games, and I think a JBL headset, which I just basically gave away to someone. But yeah, all that, and that was years ago. I already paid it off, so I'm not worried about. But then comes the PS5 Pro, where it's basically almost similar to the PlayStation 5 in a sense. Just, I guess it reads games, it has slightly better memory and all that. But the price range of it starting at $700, but then an extra 20 if you want to give it the vertical stand, which is basically what I've had with mine. Again, when I bought my PS5, it just came with it. And then what's it called? An extra 80 if you want to have it read disc, which again, doing that puts you at 800 now, $300 if you want the full experience. Doesn't come with PlayStation Plus, doesn't come with any. I mean, the only game it comes with is Astro's Playroom, but that's like a pre-installed game. And then I know, if anything, you're pretty much back cataloged, so you should have some PS4 games or PS5 games from, or just in general PS4 games. The dumb thing too is they used to have this thing where when you bought a PS5, they had a PS Plus Essentials kit or something like that, which came with games like God of War, Infamous, like a bunch of regular PS4 games for the PS5, as long as you had some form of PS Plus and the games were free. It's kind of sketchy that they took that away like months before the PS5 Pro was coming out. So now you're forced to buy games again. If this is your first time going into the next gen or current gen, then you're kind of shit out of luck because now you got to buy your games now. On top of being, if you want to play, FIFA, Call of Duty, anything like that, now you have to buy a PS Plus as well. It just seems very scummy, and it's, with everything going up in price these days, it really makes you wonder who was this meant for, because honestly, I was considering, like, the most basic thing I was going to do was give my PlayStation 5 a final cleanup, and then from there go to GameStop or something and trade it in, and then whatever money I get out of that, put it towards the PS5 Pro. But after that, the more I thought about it, the more I realized if I'm willing to go that far for it, for a new, slightly powerful, more game console. Because the funny thing is, too, I was planning on doing all this next year because at my work I'm getting a work bonus of 500. They keep on. They were kind of edging me on about it, saying, "Oh yeah, we're getting it, we're getting it." I had to do my own research, and I'm not getting it until the new year. But yeah, I was basically gonna use that, trade in my PlayStation, whatever I get out of it, put it towards the PS5 Pro, and then with my bonus, buy the PS5 Pro. Now, because of the more I looked into it, the more I'm like, why am I gonna do that? My PS5 works just fine, and the it still reads disc. It still does everything I needed to do. Why am I gonna just give it up just to play some, just to rebuild a slightly stronger PS5? So at that point, I basically better off just building a PC at that point. I mean, sure, I might need a slightly bigger desk because I basically messed up with the sizing because I honestly thought, okay, this would work. I can make this whatever work. And unfortunately, I don't know, my desk is actually does it fits the PS5 just fine. My monitor, my microphone, but there's no space if I ever had to build a PC because, well, that's all the space these things had. So I would have to buy a slightly longer desk. But what point saying, at that point, why would I trade my PS5 Pro, which works perfectly fine, for a slightly better PS5 when in reality I can just build a PC at that point? I've been talking about it for so long, and the more I'm like, it's because I just don't want to buy a pre-made one because I heard that that's they charge you more. But then, out of curiosity, I did actually look up on the Facebook Marketplace and just simply put gaming PC. Someone was selling their rig that had well, I don't even, hold on. All right, so here are the builds for it. So it's an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 460 with a driver version of 556, AMD Ryzen 5 5600X 6-core processor, and 32 gigs of RAM. And pretty much it comes all this for $900, which I know is like I said, basically for the same $100 more than what I would have spent going through buying a PS5 Pro. Throw in an extra $100 and boom, I just get up, buy a rig from someone else that knows what they're doing, and at any point just go off that rig. And if at some point stronger parts come out, I can just start doing some research and just switching out parts. Like I said, I could always buy a pre-made one, like something, but something like this would work for me. Like just buy it used, just to kind of jump right in. I don't want to be doing all the guessing work. If someone already knows what they're doing and they're just selling it because they're building a stronger rig, then I buy what their rig is. That's going to be my starter PC build. And like I said, the more I thought about it, the more I'm just like, yeah, it's honestly smarter for me to just go straight for just building not build, well, sort of buy a PC from someone and then from there just build it from there. I'm pretty sure it's not that hard. If my graphics start looking wonky, I can probably just buy a new, process. I don't, like I said, I'm new to it, but I feel like it's not something that I'm gonna be struggling to learn, if that makes sense. But yeah, if the only thing I would say if you're gonna buy a PS5 Pro is only if you're gonna be, what's it called, if you're new to it, basically. If you've never owned a PS5 up to this point, then go ahead and buy it. Totally up to you. But if you've already owned one, then in reality there really is no reason to be buying the PS5 Pro. Especially with most games, you won't really notice any of the graphics. Anything that we've noticed, we won't really it won't make such a huge difference that it's gonna break your immersion of the game. The only one that suffers from that is the Xbox Series S because, well, it's a slightly weaker version, and you've seen they've kind of been missing out on some good games because they're not optimized fully. Black Myth Wukong and other games such as that were, I think it was, what was it? Baldur's Gate, I think, or Dragon's Dogma as well. It's just, like I said, it's weak, and that's keeping them behind. But you can just get a Series X and just, you won't notice any graphical errors or performance like that. Like I said, it's just and then also too, it's better to buy, if you are going to do that, just if you're going to buy a PlayStation purely for digital, it makes more sense to go through a PC. Like I said, I don't even have one, but I've been seeing stuff like the Steam sales and stuff like that, or where Epic Games gives you free games for downloading their launcher. So right off the bat, and you don't even have to pay online if any of those games end up being multiplayer. Kudos if it ends up being crossplay with PlayStation, then you can kind of flex that you're playing online for free or something like that. But yeah, overall, I strongly do like. I'm going against the PlayStation 5, and this is from someone that's been playing PlayStation since ever. The PlayStation 1, 2, the PSP, the Vita. Actually, I never had a Vita. PS3, 4, 5. Like every time a new PlayStation came out, ever since the Red Rings of Death with the Xbox 360, I've purely stuck with PlayStation. And this is the one time I'm going against what they're doing, because it's the stupidest thing ever of charging $700 for an incomplete thing and an extra 100 if you want it with a disc drive, and it's a mess actually. Anyways, that's it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a like, comment what you think about the PS5 Pro. Follow my socials. All of them will be in the description. And yeah, until next time, I'll see y'all later, everyone.